All right, so good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining today's webinar on NRS Tables 1, 2, 2A, 3, 6, and 7. My name is Carla Causey, and I will be serving as your presenter for today's webinar. Before we begin, please be sure to disable your microphone to eliminate any background noise. And for your convenience, today's webinar will be recorded and archived for those who aren't able to be in attendance. Let's begin. So the NRS tables. Several reporting tables allow for separate reporting on special populations for primary indicators of performance. These tables can be found in Appendix E of the NRS Technical Assistance Guide. As stated earlier, we're going to just take a look at tables 1, 2, 2A, 3, 6, and 7. So let's talk about reportable versus participant. A reportable individual is an individual who has taken action that demonstrates an intent to use program services and who meets the specific reporting criteria of the program. Criteria such as they provided you with identifying information, they only use self-service systems, or they only receive information-only services or activities. An adult in any AFLA program who has completed at least 12 hours of contact are considered reportable individuals, but they do not count towards accountability measures, or less than 12 hours, I apologize, do not count again towards accountability measures. However, a participant is a reportable individual who has received services other than the services previously described. For Title II, when an individual is in an AFLA program has completed at least 12 contact hours, they are considered a participant. Participants count towards accountability measures and will show on your tables. So recap, a reportable individual is someone with less than 12 hours, a participant has 12 hours, and a few other details. So let's figure out how they hit the tables. Table 1. This table captures what the participants with 12 hours or more self-identify as, either male or female, as well as their ethnicity and educational functioning level. It's important to note that, again, when you have their ethnicities, we need to know that this is what they self-report and not what you possibly know them to be. And I say that because I know I had an issue with a male, female, or someone that was transgender who we had to respect what they identified as, and we had to adjust our policies as such. So this is very, very important and should be paid attention to. If you have a significant population of non-white or Black participants, you could also decide that ESL services may be needed. So this is a wonderful tool for you to utilize in that regard. Again, Table 1 are your participants and their ethnicities as well as sex and educational functioning levels. Table 2. Table 2 highlights the ages of your participants based off ethnicity and sex. This is helpful when determining the type of services to offer. If you have a large population of 16 to 24-year-olds, you may qualify for grant opportunities for out-of-school youth. If you have a large population of 25 to 54-year-olds, you may lean more heavily on workforce preparation and promote the benefits of Smart Start, especially the financial literacy component, because most of these individuals will be career-minded and need to start planning for retirement. Participants should be classified based on their age at program entry. Participants entering the program prior to the current program year should be classified based on their age at the beginning of the current program year. The totals in columns B through O should equal the totals in columns B through O of Table 1. Row totals in column P should equal corresponding column row totals in Table 3. I know that's a lot. So basically 1, 2, and 3, the total should equal. (2A). Now, on this table, only individuals who have completed fewer than 12 contact hours in a period of participation will appear. Remember, a reportable individual is an individual who has taken action that demonstrates an intent to use program services and who meets specific reporting criteria for your AFLA program. This table may help you understand a retention issue your program may have if there's a large population of 25 to 45-year-olds that have not gotten past 12 hours. There's a problem there. They may have found employment or have childcare needs that prevent them from attending regularly. Your transition specialists or navigators can reach out to them to see if support services are needed to continue on with their educational needs. Table 3 is helpful because it is non-duplicated participants by program type and age. Here's where the IETP comes in. I love it. It's important to note that the total in column H should equal the total in column P of table 1. It is also classifies participants based on the level for each program type. So ABE, you have the number of participants enrolled in levels 1 through 4. This number includes those enrolled in integrated education and training programs for those level students, as well as ASE, which is about levels 5 and 6, as well as the IETP. Lord, that's a tongue twister. Students that are enrolled at that level, and so on and so forth. It's important to note, too, that your IETP participants should actually be documented on this table. So if there's a discrepancy between your search of IETP participants and what's on table 3, we need to figure out what's going on here and kind of adjust that. Table 6. Another tool for the transition specialist or navigator is table 6. This table shows the highest level of education attained by each participant, but more importantly, it shows their employment status upon entry. Rather than looking in the total column on table 6, verify that lines 3 of employment status, which is employed, unemployed, and not in a labor force, add up to the total of NRS fundable students, and that the columns and rows for highest education level completed at entry and location also add up to the total of NRS fundable students. This is great for Smart Start recruitment to transition into employment for those unemployed and underemployed. Counseling sessions could also be scheduled for those not in the labor force to find out why they are not actively looking for work. And as again, the total number of participants reported here must be the same as the number reported in the total row of column P in table 1. Pay attention to the program type as well. Participants counted here must be in a program specifically designed for that purpose. So the term workplace adult education and literacy activities mean adult education and literacy activities offered by an eligible provider in collaboration with an employer or employee organization at a workplace or an off-site location that is designed to improve the productivity of the workforce. During intake, make certain that you explain that employed means the participant is currently performing any work at all as a paid employee and in his or her own business, profession, or firm as an unpaid worker in an enterprise operated by a member of the family. All of this constitutes your employed. So whether or not you're getting paid with incentives because you're great and you're helping with the family business, or you're actually paid on the clock for your hours where you are employed. And we need to explain these criteria to the students in detail, which is why we also ask that you do intake face-to-face and not just allow the students to complete the SSP. It is also important to know that employed but received notice of termination of employment or military separation is pending. So although employed, they have either received a notice of termination and that's within 12 months of separation or 24 months of retirement. Not in the labor force. The participant is not in the labor force and not actively looking for work, including those who are incarcerated. So, not in the labor force means that they are not actively looking for work. And of course, unemployed means that they are not employed, but they are seeking employment and make specific efforts to find a job and that they're available for work. That's an important distinction between unemployed and not in the labor force, guys. So whether I am not employed, but I'm not even actively looking, which means I'm not in the labor force, or I'm unemployed because I just simply haven't found work, but I am available for it. And last but not least, Table 7. So in order to locate this table, you must go to the Staff tab in LACES. Under Searches, select Table 7 and the appropriate reporting year, and your table will appear. This table assists the director with making personnel decisions. If a program has a retention issue, it may be due to the lack of properly trained instructors. So you may want to make certain that those with less than 1 year of adult education experience have gone through New Teacher Academy, and even those with 1 year to 3 years of experience may need a refresher since so much has changed. Program professional development can also be targeted to assist staff members in improving the scope of their job duties. It's important to note that we also need to update this with the change of the fiscal year. We've had several personnel changes, both programs to increase and decrease in size, and this table needs to reflect that as well. All right, so that's all of the tables for today. This information can be found, like I said, in our NRS Technical Assistance Guide. It can be accessed through the link provided, and it is an excellent resource to foster understanding of your program data, as well as how to improve program processes in order to make every effort count. So I believe this would be an excellent PD topic for your fiscal year 2020.